This video is a longer, detailed explanation on the question that I get on TikTok of, will Beave be able to survive in the wild once he's been released because he's been with me for so long? With any rehabbed animal that's been in contact with humans, they are always at a disadvantage once they are released. We are not their parents, obviously, so there is no possible way that a human can teach a wild animal everything that they will need to know to survive. With the beaver rehab, I know I've explained this before, but it's highly social, it's very nurturing, and it's very specialized. It is unlike any other rehab that we normally do, which only lasts a couple months, very limited human contact, medical care, food, shelter, bathroom care, and they're off. With a beaver, because they are so highly social and they stay with their parents for between 2 to 3 years, their parents teach them everything they need to know, and then I will have to do the same. But that being said, I'm not a beaver, so I can't possibly teach him everything that he's going to know to be a beaver, a successful beaver in the wild. So because of that, his chances of survival in the wild are greatly diminished by the fact that he's being raised by a human. He will not have an ideal life out in the wild, but he will have a more miserable life if he wasn't out in the wild. And if he did not go into rehab and come to me and be taught everything he needs to know, his chances of survival would have been 0. So it's a risk. We weigh the risks. When we have on one hand certain death, we have on another hand a chance, we always pick the chance. But I will never say that I guarantee that Beave is going to live a great life, find a mate, start a family. I don't know that. I hope that's the case, but I don't know that for certain. It's the same when we rehab a deer and we release them, and we don't know if they're going to walk up to a hunter and be shot. Around me, the chances of Beave running into a human are pretty slim. And I do know that when another person, a stranger, comes onto the property or comes into the house that Beave does not know, he's very scared of them. If he hears a noise that he doesn't like, he dives right into the pond. Even when the horses walk and they rustle the leaves, Beave gets scared and he jumps into the pond. So that's a great defense. That's a natural reaction that I want to see. He's not walking up to strangers, that's for sure. He doesn't like strangers. He's only comfortable with myself and my immediate family. Other than that, he's not comfortable with strangers. So when he gets to be about 1.5 years, 2 years old, he's going to start to exhibit aggressive tendencies. That is an excellent sign. His hormones are kicking in, and he's going to start to distance himself from me. The reason I know this is because that's what wild animals do with their parents. That's why you never see a 5-year-old beaver with their parents. They leave. All wild animals do leave their parents. And that normally happens when their hormones kick in and they want to go find a mate. The need to procreate for wildlife is very strong, and it drives them off from their parents to find a mate and start a family. And that's what Beave's going to do. Is he going to have the perfect life because he was rehabbed with a human? Absolutely not. But when people will comment on TikTok and they'll say, you should really keep him, he's better off with you. He's not better off with me. Beavers, as all wildlife, is never better off with humans. There are circumstances where some wildlife cannot be released and they have to stay with the rehabber. There are circumstances. There are animals that have injuries or illnesses, or they have disabilities that prevent them from going back out in the wild. But when we have a healthy wild animal, there is no reason that they should not be released. but we all understand that that is with a chance that they could be killed or harmed, or they will not know how to survive properly in the wild. We do the very best we can as rehabbers, the very best. But it's never going to be as good as if they were with their parents being raised by their biological species. It's never going to be as good. We know that, and we never claim that the life that they're growing up in is even remotely close to the life that they should be leading. So, to answer the question, how will Beave be released when he's been with a human? We're going to do it the best we can. I'm going to do it the best I can, and Beave's going to do it the best he can. He will have a soft release, and what a soft release means is that when I see the signs that he's becoming aggressive and he starts to distance himself from me, I will put him in the large pond, which I'm sure you've seen a lot. And with that, he will start to not want to seek me out when he's hungry or he needs a social contact or, any of his needs. He will start to stay in that pond longer and longer. I will distance myself, but I will continuously feed him with no contact. So I'll leave food for him with no contact. We shorten the duration between feedings, so he will be motivated to find more food on his own. And then slowly but surely, he will no longer really want anything to do with me. And then one day he will be gone. And then I'll know that he has set off. And again, I just hope that he set off to find a mate like he would in the wild, build dams, build a beautiful lodge, and start a family. In the wild, beavers will mate for life. They have a litter of kits. That litter becomes the 1-year-olds. Then the parents have another litter. The 1-year-olds help with, as weird as it sounds, chores around the lodge. And then the 2-year-olds become apprentices, usually to their dads. They help their dads with repairing lodge work, repairing dam work. And then about 2 to 3 years old, the teenager, the adolescent, will then decide that it's time for them to leave, and that's when they become mature and an adult, and they will go out and find a mate. So that's kind of to answer your question on TikTok of will he be able to be released since he's been with me. It's definitely a chance, definitely a risk, but you got to keep in mind the other option would have been certain death.